Welcome back to Autism at Home. If you've been following the lessons, at this point, you've got your equipment and you've learned how to make visuals. In this lesson, we'll talk about how to make social stories. Social stories were created by Carol Gray in 1991. You can think of them as short stories that describe to a child a situation, an event, or activity. They're really useful when teaching a child what is coming up and what they should do in that situation. Social stories are incredibly versatile and can be used to teach self-care skills like brushing teeth or washing hands, social skills like sharing or asking for help, communicate changes to routines or events coming up, like if the family is moving house or their favorite teacher is going away, and even behavioral strategies like how to cope when they're angry or upset. Social stories work because they take something that could have several steps or require complex language to explain and breaks it down into a combination of simple text and accompanying pictures. Here at the AP, we commonly print out social stories in the form of little booklets like these, printed in book fold form because they are portable and look like storybooks, hence being really child-friendly. However, there is no single way to make a social story. They can come in the form of flip books, PowerPoint slides, comic strips, or just PDF files. What is more important is that whatever medium used is most suitable to the individual child's needs. So let's take a look at a couple examples of social stories. This one is about going on the airplane. For purposes of this example, we're using a generic clip art of a boy, but you should use pictures of the actual people in your stories. So let's have a look. This is Adam. This is Singapore. On the 25th July, Adam is going to Singapore. Adam will go by airplane with mommy and daddy. Adam will go on plane with mommy and daddy. Put on seatbelt when seatbelt light comes on. Remember, we can sit nicely, have nice hands, and quiet mouth. We can eat on plane. We can watch movie. We can sleep. Plane will be loud, but it's no big deal. We can cover ears. No big deal. Adam can do it. Notice how, with the airplane story, we walk the child through each logical step of the process. Tell them what they're expected to do, like sit nicely and have nice hands, and also how to cope with the long flight, such as watching a movie or sleeping. Or how about this one? Cutting hair. Many children with autism struggle with tolerating having their hair cut, hence benefit from being told exactly what will happen via social story and then practicing with a trusted adult. This is Samantha. Samantha has long hair. Sometimes we need to cut hair. First, sit on chair. Second, put on cape. Third, wet hair. Fourth, cut hair. First, cut hair, then reward. Good job, Samantha. You can do it. So now that you've seen a couple examples, how do you get started writing your own social story? First things first, Carol Gray recommends to start by picturing your goal. What do you want your child to learn from the social story? Is it how to ask for help appropriately, prepare them for a big trip, or to teach them to squeeze a pillow to cope with their anxiety? Second, think through each step they need to take to achieve this goal. A good tip is to ask yourself 6 questions: who, what, where, when, how, and why. For example, a child who is visiting an unfamiliar relative and may feel anxious. The who is the relative, the what is the visit, the where is the house she is going to, the when is a countdown to the day, the how is what she can do or say when she sees the relative, such as looking at them and saying hi. The why could be that her relative or mommy and daddy will feel happy when she greets the relative nicely. Finally, start writing. Give your social story a title, then start with a script comprised of descriptive or coaching texts until you're happy with the beginning, body, and end. The words and presentation of the story should be appropriate to your child's age and level of understanding. Use age-appropriate pictures and use lengths of text that matches where your child is at. For example, if your child has little speech or only uses a few single words, keep each page to a maximum of 3 to 4 words. However, a teenager with fluent speech could have much longer sentences. Most of all, keep the tone positive. Social stories are not meant to be used to point out all the things the child is doing wrong. They're meant to neutrally highlight a challenge the child has and teach the child strategies they can use to overcome that challenge. Once you've written your social story, you can print it out or show it on a device to your child. Some children require social stories to be read to them frequently, even up to 3 to 5 times a day, and then step by step during the situation itself, especially if they'll be making a big change or learning a hard skill. Let's look at some case studies together and see if you can help the moms and dads in these scenarios with their social stories. Ben is a 7-year-old boy with fluent speech who has just started year 1. Ben finds it really hard to cope with making mistakes. Although his mom tells him mistakes are not a big deal, he can't help but burst out in tears every time he gets an answer on his test wrong. Mom makes him a social story about making mistakes. Which of the below should be included in the story? Sometimes, I get answers wrong on the test. I can take deep breaths. I can ask for a calming down break. Or all of the above. If you answered D, all of the above, you're right. Mom should set up the what, which is the situation of getting wrong answers, and also how to cope with his emotions when Ben feels overwhelmed. Yishi is a 4-year-old girl who loves to climb and jump on the sofa, but her parents don't want her to hurt herself. They decide to make a social story to teach her not to jump on the sofa. What would be the most suitable topic for the social story? A. No jumping on the sofa. B. Sit nicely on sofa. Or C. Play nicely on sofa. Out of these 3, the most suitable topic would be B. Sit nicely on sofa. We should focus our language whenever possible on the desired behavior we want the child to practice instead of focusing on the behavior we don't want to see. Jamie is a 6-year-old boy who has never been to the dentist before. Jamie has a history of hitting his head on the wall whenever there is an unexpected change. His parents decide to make him a social story and make sure to include information like where the dentist will be, who the dentist is, and what Jamie will do on the dentist chair and what reward he will get. They read it to him just before he goes into the dentist, but Jamie still screams and hits his head on the wall when he sees the dentist. Why? A. The social story was not detailed enough. B. The social story was too long. C. The social story was read too late. Or D. The social story was read too early. The answer is C. The social story was read too late. By the sounds of it, although they prepared a thorough social story, they waited till just before the dentist to read the story to Jamie. Remember the key strategy of practice. It's important that Jamie was read the social story several days before and possibly every day. On top of that, in terms of breaking skills down, Jamie seems the kind of boy who needs practice pretending to go to the dentist at home before the real thing. Now, it's your turn. Following the 3 steps, picture a goal you would like your child to prepare for or learn. Think through each step they will need to go through, answering the what, where, when, who, why, and how questions. Finally, write out the script and find suitable pictures to go with each page. We have a lot of free social story templates you can download in the corresponding Autism at Home article to get you started, such as for going to the mall or tolerating haircutting. We hope that's been helpful to you in familiarizing with what a social story is and how it works. In the next lesson, we'll look at another useful technique for teaching children with autism: video models, instructional videos for kids. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.